Learn English easily. Ellie finds her inner sparkle. Once upon a time, in a big bustling house at the edge of a sunlit village, lived a little girl named Ellie. Ellie was a bright-eyed girl with a smile as warm as the summer sun. But Ellie had a tiny problem. She was part of a very large family, so large that sometimes it felt like no one saw her. Even her best laughs and highest jumps seemed to just blend in. To make things even trickier, Ellie had an identical twin sister named Emma. They shared everything from looks to laughs, and if you weren't paying close attention, it was easy to mix them up. This made Ellie feel even more invisible in her big, noisy house. Ellie tried everything to stand out. She wore polka dot socks with striped shirts, learned to whistle with 2 fingers, and even tried to master a cartwheel. But no matter what she did, it seemed like she just couldn't catch anyone's eye. One sunny afternoon, Ellie, feeling a bit blue, wandered into the village. There, she met a kind old woman named Mrs. Lavender, who ran the little bookshop by the corner. Mrs. Lavender had a gentle smile and eyes that twinkled like stars. Seeing Ellie's glum face, Mrs. Lavender asked, "What's troubling you, dear?" Ellie sighed and told her everything about her big family, her twin sister, and how she felt like just another face in the crowd. Mrs. Lavender listened quietly and then said, "Ellie, each of us is a unique story, not just a face in a crowd. You don't have to stand out to be special. You already are." Ellie blinked, a little surprised. No one had ever told her that before. "Why don't you help me in the shop today?" Mrs. Lavender suggested. "Maybe a change of scene will cheer you up." Ellie nodded, and together they spent the afternoon arranging books, chatting with customers, and sipping cocoa. Mrs. Lavender let Ellie decide how to display the new books, and even asked for her opinion on which stories were best for their window display. To Ellie's surprise, people listened to her. They smiled at her jokes and thanked her for her help. For the first time, Ellie felt seen, not for doing flips or wearing funny clothes, but just for being herself. Ellie felt a warm glow inside as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. She realized that she didn't need to stand out to be seen. She was fine, just the way she was, and that alone made her special. With a big smile and a new friend in Mrs. Lavender, Ellie skipped back home, her heart lighter than it had been in a long time. And from that day on, she never forgot the lesson she learned in the little bookshop. Being yourself is the best way to shine. Finding a light in the dark. In the quiet town of Maplewood, there was a library as grand as a castle, with towering shelves filled with stories of every kind. This was where Samuel, a boy with a gentle heart, found refuge from bullies who didn't understand him. And in the same library, there was Maya, a girl whose laughter had grown quiet after her parents' divorce. Samuel and Maya felt lost in their worlds of worry until one rainy afternoon in the library, their paths crossed. When he heard a quiet sniffle, Samuel was tucked away in a cozy corner, lost in a book about brave knights and distant lands. Looking up, he saw Maya sitting alone, her eyes red from crying, holding a book about families. Samuel hesitated for a moment, but then, remembering how his grandma always said, "Kindness is the bravest act of all," he gathered his courage and walked over to her. "Hi, I'm Samuel. Do you like stories about adventures?" he asked, his voice gentle. Maya looked up, surprised. She nodded, managing a small smile. "I do. My name's Maya." And so they started talking, sharing their favorite stories and the adventures they dreamed of. As they talked, they began to share a little bit about their own lives. Samuel about the bullies, and Maya about her parents' divorce. They found comfort in knowing they weren't alone in feeling lost. In the weeks that followed, the library became their sanctuary. Together, they explored magical kingdoms, solved mysteries, and sailed the high seas, all through the pages of books. They laughed at funny stories and shared silent tears over sad ones. In each other, they found a friend who understood the shadows in their hearts. Their afternoons in the library became a beautiful friendship that made their troubles feel slightly lighter. Maya's laughter returned, brighter and fuller than before, while Samuel found strength in Maya's kindness and understanding. One day, as they sat reading under the library's grand windows, Samuel turned to Maya and said, "You know, I don't feel so alone anymore." Maya smiled, her eyes shining. "Me neither. We've found our kind of adventure right here." And so, Samuel and Maya, a boy who faced bullies and a girl with a broken heart, found happiness in the pages of their stories and the warmth of their friendship. Together, they discovered that sometimes the greatest adventures don't involve battles or quests, but simply finding someone who understands you. In the grand library of Maplewood, among the whispering pages and the scent of old books, Samuel and Maya found a magical world of their own, where they could be brave, laugh, and dream together. And in doing so, they learned that happiness can be found in the most unexpected places, even in the quiet corners of a library.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more.